Hi guys, in class we discussed how to do the synthetic division. Maybe I should do a quick review before we do the next question, which is the form, the divisor is not exactly x minus k, so it's not the form of x minus k because the coefficient is 2. So I would use this problem as a review. So I'm gonna let's take a look at this particular problem. Okay, I'm gonna divide this polynomial by x plus 1 instead of 2x plus 1. So how do we do that? First of all, you identify your k. Your k is -1 because x plus 1 can be considered as x minus -1. So your k is -1. Now once you do the identify the k, and then this is how you set up your synthetic division. So you're gonna get all the coefficients of your polynomial. So in this case is 4x cubed, and then the next one is -12, and then -5 and -1. So when you read, you know this is the constant term, this is the coefficient for the first degree term, coefficient for the second degree term, and for the third degree 3 term. And you divide by k is -1, so I'm going to write my k here, -1. The first step is you just move down the -4, okay? And then after you do that, the next step is you multiply -1 and 4 together, you get the -4. You write this product in here. And then after that, you're going to add these two numbers together. Don't subtract. You're going to add. In the class, we discussed why now we add instead of subtract, because we treat this as x minus k. So we have a negative sign here. In class, we just for the long division, we just say divide by x plus 1. Now we divide by the k is -1. Now, for the next step, we mentioned that we need to add, right? So when you add, you get -16. And the next step, you repeat. So multiply -1 and -16, you get 16. You continue to add these two numbers column-wise, and this gives you 11. And repeat the pattern. So you're going to multiply -1 and 11, you get -11. So, which is when you add them, this is -12. So how do you read the answer? This is your remainder. This is your remainder, and this is your quotient. If you remember that when we read the quotient, you need to be careful. This is the coefficient of your constant term. Oh, just constant term. This is the coefficient of your degree 1 term, coefficient of your degree 2 term. So therefore, I can write that. So 4x cubed minus 12x squared minus 5x minus 1. If you divide this by x plus 1, and your answer should be 4x squared minus 16x plus 11. Your remainder is -12. And then divide by x plus 1. Or sometimes you can just move this negative sign and move that to here. That will be usually your final answer, right? So this is it. Now the question is, what about the it's not x minus k form. It's like 2x here. This is no longer 1. The coefficient is 2x plus 1. And here's the trick, okay? Here's the trick. You're gonna divide both the numerator and denominator by 2 because the divisor here, the coefficient is 2. So when you do that, you're gonna do this. So 4, -12, -5, -1. Now this time when you divide these 2x plus 1, you're going to get x plus 1/2, right? X plus 1/2. You also need to divide every single term by half as well. When you do that, you have to divide the top and bottom by half. So which means basically this is what you're going to do. 2, -6, -5 half, -1 half. So you get where's this column, this row from? It's just dividing this by 2. Where's the 2 from? It's coming from here. Now divide by, I hope that you recognize right here, your k is equal to -1 half. So therefore, you're going to do -1 half right here. And repeat the synthetic division. So let's do that. Move down the 2. Multiply these 2 together, you get -1. And then add these 2 together, you get -7. And then time to multiply these 2, you get 7 half. And then add column wise, and you get 2 over 2, which is 1, right? And then lastly, a -1 half times 1 is -1 half. When you add these 2, you get 1. So now you do have to do one more step when you look at your final answer. The thing you have to do is to, because you divide by 2 previously, you have to, your remainder should be 1 times, you divide it by 2, you have to multiply these 2 back. So you have to multiply these 2 because you divided it by 2. So remainder will be 2. Your answer should be, 2x squared minus 7x plus 1 plus 2 over 2x plus 1. It's no longer 1. The remainder is not 1 but 2. And the reason is just because previously you divided by 2. When you divided by 2, and here's a little reason. So basically your remainder is 1 over, now when you divide it by 2, what are you dividing? You're dividing this guy, x plus 1 half, right? So x plus 1 half. Now this is not what you begin with. You begin with 2x plus 1. So you want to rewrite it back. So you're gonna multiply the top and the bottom by 2, right? So when you do that, the top becomes 2, the bottom becomes 2x plus 1 when you distribute that, which is matching what you begin with. That's why you need to multiply by 2.